Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Let's take you through the big stories making the headlines today. And joining us is Public Affairs Analyst Jide Johnson. Good morning and welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
All right, let's get into the papers this morning and start with our first one, the Daily Times newspaper. On the front page, Tinubu to Fubara, obey Supreme Court judgment for peace. Reps direct CBN to suspend increase in ATM transactions. Nigeria's foreign reserve exceeds $40 billion, according to the finance minister. IGP bans public parade of suspected criminals. Lati 19 Kini. It's not today we've been talking about this. Outbreak of meningitis kills 26 in KB. ECOWAS defense chiefs activate standby forces to tackle terrorism and border crimes. And that's all on front page. Oh, there's one more story. EFCC gets Supreme Court's nod to probe Peter Odili's tenure. That's all on the front page of the Daily Times. Let's go now to the Nigerian Tribune.
Now, the Nigerian Tribune, the headline there is Rivers crisis. Tinubu wants court rulings respected. And on top of that, ECOWAS activate standby force to fight terrorism. That's some positive news coming from the Tribune. And the Supreme Court upholds Aidetiwa's victory, dismisses Ajayi's case. They didn't just dismiss it, they ordered him to pay 2 million naira in cost to all the respondents in the case for wasting the time of the court. Yes, so be careful when you say, I'll take you to court. It might end up backfiring. 68 million poor Nigerians captured in national social register. That's a huge number. United States mission in Nigeria reaffirms robust relationship with the EFCC. And we've seen that in the last couple of years. We've seen Nigerian suspects travel to America with little or no visa application. If you think you can run away for justice, the FBI will find you and take you to America with no visa. Block all pornographic websites in Nigeria, reps tell NCC. And Osun local government crisis, PDP files contempt proceedings against APC local government chairman. Protests rock Ondo over abduction of another 9 surveyors. Ondo State has been news lately for very bad reasons, kidnappings and bandit attacks, and now this, quite sad. So there you have it. Let's start with our analysis of the, I believe, Tribune, and then we'll go back to Daily Times.
All right. On the front page of the Tribune, a number of stories here, but let's, maybe we should start on a much, I don't know if we should start on a much lighter note, if that can be considered a lighter note. Block all pornographic websites in Nigeria, reps tell NCC. We've seen different reactions to this. There are those who say that we have more, in fact, even on YouTube, they have more pressing issues, but there are others who say, yes, it's an issue that should be dealt with as well. Let's get your thoughts on that before we get into the more serious matters.
It tells you the mindset, what is the dominant issue in the mindset of the House of Rep member. There is a particular story which we read, which talks about social security capturing 68
million Nigerians.
Poor Nigerians, and that they didn't talk about that. It's about pornographic site. How do they know that they are pornographic site, except that they are also patrons of this pornographic site? So it tells you what's the dominant thought of a man, usually informs his thought pattern and his speech pattern. So as far as I'm concerned, do they need to tell NCC to do that before NCC does the needful? So they are well, all you need to do also is to take a trip to the National Assembly and you see the patrons of all of these things which we are talking about. They are, as far as I'm concerned, they are critical issue of national importance, other than what they are talking about concerning porn site or no porn site for NCC to block.
Now, moving on to that very critical issue you talked about, 68 million poor Nigerians captured in National Social Register. If you contextualize that, that's the population of maybe the entire West African bloc, if I'm not mistaken. If you remove Nigeria, that's several countries of poor people. How do we deal with this issue of multidimensional poverty beyond, giving goats and wheelbarrow and giving able-bodied men Okada to ride as a living? How do we break this jinx? I mean, Vietnam has done it. We're not reinventing the wheel. China has moved huge numbers of people out of poverty in less than a generation.
Well, are you sure that number actually captured the number of poor Nigerians? I'm sure the number will be in the region of 180 million.
Do you think that's conservative?
That's even conservative. And in my estimate, all you just need to do is to take a trip around the length and breadth of this country, and poverty will be screaming at you at every turn you make. So 68 million is, like you said, if you bring out the population of Nigeria, we said out of every 10 African, one is a Nigerian. If you even put it in context in Africa, that's a bigger problem. And how do we solve this problem? We can only solve this problem through serious government economic policy, bringing in the manufacturing sector, ensuring that there are opportunities for people to make investment. You make your country business investment friendly, with form of different types of tax reliefs that you provide. Not in Nigeria that we impose different form of taxes. We increase VAT, we remove electricity. Look, I asked this question. I was in different parts of Lagos throughout yesterday, and virtually every place there was no light. And then I also attended an event organized by Standard Organization of Nigeria in Man House in Ikeja, and NEPA was, you have all of majority of captains, people that are home that have industries and the rest of it. And then the light was just fluctuating. And I told the guy who happens to be I said, that's the challenges you guys faced.
Exactly.
That's the challenge. So basically the issue of poverty is beyond giving wheelbarrows, beyond doing empowerment. One of the ways they insult our sensitivity is when an elected member into the House of Rep or the Senate saying he's doing empowerment. That is, instead of making an enabling law to make the environment better, they'll be sharing wheelbarrows, they'll be sharing washing machine, they'll be sharing sewing machine, they'll be sharing
so you can start your laundry business.
So in what way has that changed the economy? In what way has it delivered people from poverty? So we need serious intervention in terms of industrialization to deliver people from poverty.
Whose job is it? We focus too much on the center in Abuja. We have other other levels of government, local government and state, and it seems, these state governors get a free pass most times. Everybody's problem is in Aso Rock. It starts with Aso Rock. Is the one not responsible for my light, my dirty streets, everything? How do we begin to share this responsibility?
Because it's the present structure that we have, who allocates money to all the federating units. Who allocates money? It's the federal government. For example, we saw the story where the president was saying that Rivers State should obey the Supreme Court rule, and you have a Supreme Court ruling that says that allocation should be withheld from Rivers State pending the presentation of the budget and then Rivers State is one of the states that owns the oil through which Nigeria make money, and the states that contribute large amount of money into the federation account is being denied by the Supreme Court that sat in Abuja. And so you see that when people talk about that, we need to restructure the system. So there's too much power at the center, and that's why you see a lot of blame going to the center. Until we restructure, we devolve power, and we give power to the various constituent units, the local and the state. I can assure you that we'll still be passing the buck around whose responsibilities. You even look at what happened in Lagos State House of Assembly, for example. Decision couldn't even be taken in Lagos. Decision was taken elsewhere outside of Lagos. So we still have too much power at the center. I say this, in principle, we say we practice federalism, but in reality, we practice a unity system of government because everything revolves around the central government.
You practice what?
Unity system of government.
Okay, I thought I had something else. I can't even tell you what I had. Maybe we'll get off air. But we'll be heading now. We'll still come back to review some of the papers. We'll be heading now to Otedola Bridge, where we have our correspondent Nii Omoni to bring us live feed from there and to give us what the latest updates regarding the accident that occurred and the fires that we saw yesterday.